So, what is that one thing which is common in every major brand? Now, before you say, well, I'm an educator, I'm a business owner, why should I care? Let me explain. And just a hint, why should I care is the answer. So, I help creators and business owners create and edit content. So, consuming and analyzing these stuff is a part of my day job. What I found is a very interesting focal point which is common between big creators and brand, which they use to influence your buying decision, your attention span. I'm obviously talking about storytelling. So in this video, we are going to discuss and explore a simple way in which you can incorporate your own stories in your scripts, in your videos, in your messaging. So people trust you much easily. And stick around till the end. If you struggle to create content, if you struggle to get time to create content, because I have something for you. It's a lovely morning. So there are 100 different ways in which you can tell a story, tell your own story in your videos. Right from hero's journey to 8-part story cycle, you can get confused so easily. Now, after watching hundreds of videos, I understand that there's a much simpler way of adding your stories in your videos, and that's what I call a CCR formula. This applies well for listicle content, videos in which you are talking about a step or some pointers. This will fit right in that category. But if you are not doing any of those kind of content, still you can use this formula as a progression content. I'm going to discuss that. So what does CCR stand for? The first C is conclusion, where we are talking about the advice, we are talking about the pointer, we are talking about the step, however you would like to call them. It's a list item which you are providing to the audience. So we start with a conclusion. Stop eating after 7 p.m. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to say, and that's our conclusion. Now the next step is C again, and that's context. What were the incidents, like what happened so you started believing this? Walk me through the point. Why are you advising me not to eat after 7 p.m.? That's the context, your life events that led you to believe this. So we have conclusion, then we have context. Your context can be something like, it was June of 2023 and my weight stopped coming off. I have been trying for 6 whole months, but after losing X pounds, I couldn't lose even an ounce in the next 6 months. And that's when I realized that I am doing something wrong. I just stopped eating after 7 p.m. You see, this is how I explain. You are connecting personally with me with this story, right? This is a personal story of mine. And why you are listening to it, why should you care? Because it's tied to the conclusion, which is your interest point. So, conclusion, context. Then we go to R, which is result. So I stopped eating after 7 p.m. Then what? Then the weight started coming off. So, conclusion, context, result. So when I stopped eating after 7 p.m., my weight started coming off. In just 1 month, I lost an additional 30 pounds. This is where I am trying to point you towards. So this CCR formula, conclusion, context, result, this will sit well in any of your listicle. Not that you have to put this, you have to force it in every single listicle or every single pointer. You don't have to do that. But where you have a story to share, where you have a chance to connect with your audience, this is the best way to connect with your audience. One of the best ways. And one of the things I like when I am writing a script, and I am more comfortable on paper, but I use Notion extensively. So when I'm writing a script, especially when I'm writing it on Notion or Google Docs, I will leave out spaces where I can add an example. That's my life story. Or when I'm writing a script for someone else, I don't know all of their life story. So whenever I feel that there's a point where we can add in a life story, I use that. I have easily made over 500 videos, and in the last 3 months I made 3 videos every single week while having client work and whatnot. So if you're someone who is struggling to create content, to find time to create content, then you might want to grab the free training that I have linked down in the description. It's free, just watch it. There are a few videos in which I am walking through how you can save time and create better results for yourself when you are starting out to create content. So if you are like making a video on a client transformation, you can actually use this conclusion context result formula. You can use it over there, but in that case you have to use it in a different way. You have to start with the result, because that's what you are trying to sell. So my client lost this many pounds in this many days, or my client landed this much money in this many days. You start there. Your context is the journey. We started this, I helped him do this, we did this together, we formulated this. These were the hurdles. Hurdles are very important. These were the hurdles. This is how we overcame that. And then when you go to the conclusion, draw it with the result. Okay, so at the end of the context, you will show them the transformation. Result is what happened after the transformation. Because of the transformation, what did they achieve? That's your result. That's separate. Now the transformation is at the end of the context, right? The story, what happened in the end, what's the climax? That's what I'm waiting for. And then I'll ask, how can I apply? So from that, the transformation, we go to conclusion, because we have to match the dots. We have to draw the lines. We have to connect the dots for our audience. So if you just invert this formula, you can use it in a client transformation story or your own transformation story, or just if you want to make a whole video on only one story, this is how you can use it. Now if you want to know how some of the creators are using playlists to drive audience to their sales page, then I think you should check this video out, because here we have discussed what they are actually doing and how you can do that.